The Astronomers of Timbuktu maps of the cosmos. Across the endless dunes of the Sahara, where the sun burns the horizon gold and caravans move like shadows across the sand, there once stood a city whispered about in distant lands. Timbuktu. To Europe it was a myth. To the Islamic world it was a jewel. To Africa it was a library of civilization. Merchants came seeking gold. Kings came seeking power. But the greatest travelers came seeking something far more valuable: knowledge. Before we dive into the main story, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell notification button for more interesting video like this. And at the center of this intellectual world, scribes, mathematicians, and astronomers mapped the cosmos with a precision that continues to shock historians today. This is the forgotten story of the Astronomers of Timbuktu, the scholars who charted the heavens in the sands of Mali. By the 12th century, Timbuktu had transformed from a small settlement into a thriving center of trade and scholarship. Caravans carried salt from the Sahara, ivory from the forest, gold from the mines of West Africa, books from all across the Islamic world. But books were treated like treasure. Some were worth more than gold itself. As Islamic scholars settled in the region, they built madrasas, libraries, and manuscript houses. By the 1500s, the city held over 700,000 manuscripts, making it one of the largest scholarly centers in the world. Among these scholars were the masters of the stars, astronomers who studied the heavens not out of superstition, but out of scientific pursuit. When night falls over the Sahara, the stars burn brighter than anywhere else on Earth. With no city lights to dim the sky, the heavens reveal their secrets. The astronomers of Timbuktu turned this to their advantage. They observed the movement of planets, lunar phases, solar positions, eclipses, the zodiac, the rising and setting of specific stars used to navigate the desert. Their instruments included astrolabes, quadrants, celestial globes, mathematical tables, trigonometric charts. Unlike many medieval astronomers whose work mixed mysticism and science, Timbuktu scholars were mathematicians first. They wrote treatises filled with geometric proofs, trigonometric calculations, and observational data. In the manuscripts we find complex equations describing the exact angle of the sun at different times of the year, methods of determining latitude using Polaris, rules for determining prayer times through shadow length, calculations for predicting lunar eclipses. The sophistication rivals and often surpasses work done in Europe at the time. Several key figures stand out. Ahmad Baba, 1556–1627, one of the greatest scholars of West Africa. Though best known as a jurist and writer, Ahmad Baba maintained correspondence with astronomers and mathematicians across North Africa. He helped preserve and organize astronomical texts that otherwise would have been lost. Mahmud Kadi and the Kadi family library. Their library contained thousands of texts, including rare astronomical manuscripts from Spain, Morocco, and Egypt. Kadi descendants copied, translated, and expanded these works. The anonymous astronomers. Hundreds of manuscripts remain unsigned. These scholars produced tables that calculated the lunar calendar, the solar year, the Hijri calendar, the Qibla direction, orientation toward Mecca, astronomical navigation routes. They were geniuses whose names were never preserved but whose calculations still stand. In the manuscripts, scholars created unique astronomical diagrams, circular zodiac charts, calendars of star risings, tables predicting the moon visibility, compass-like diagrams for finding Mecca using trigonometry. Some diagrams combine African, Arabic, and Greek influences, showing Timbuktu was a fusion of multiple scientific traditions. These weren't symbolic drawings, they were tools. Real, functional instruments made of ink and parchment. To calculate celestial movement, Timbuktu scholars used geometry, advanced arithmetic, trigonometry, algebraic reasoning. They created sine tables, shadow length tables, angular measurements, algorithms for determining noon, formulas to measure days of the year. One manuscript describes how to calculate the exact moment of dawn using the angle of the sun, not superstition, but mathematics. Another describes a method to determine direction using only the stars and a rope, centuries before the compass became common in Europe. In 1591, Moroccan forces invaded Timbuktu. They were not searching for gold alone, they wanted books, scientific knowledge, and the scholars who wrote them. Many astronomers were imprisoned, forced into labor, or had their libraries seized. Yet families like the Kadi and Haidara hid manuscripts in wooden boxes, clay jars, desert caves, underground chambers. For 400 years, families passed these texts down like sacred treasure. Timbuktu genius survived only because ordinary people risked everything. In the late 20th century, the world rediscovered the hidden libraries. Scholars were stunned to find equations, diagrams, and scientific treatises rivaling the work of Europe's greatest minds. Today, efforts continue to catalog and digitize the manuscripts. They show what colonial narratives tried to erase. Africa was not a passive continent waiting for civilization. Africa was a continent that created knowledge. The astronomers of Timbuktu were not merely stargazers. They were scientists, mathematicians, philosophers, engineers, and visionaries. They mapped the night sky, calculated the movement of planets, preserved ancient scientific traditions, innovated their own mathematical systems, built one of the world's greatest centers of learning. Their legacy is not just in the manuscripts. It is in the proof that genius lives everywhere, even in places the world tried to forget. Timbuktu was not a city lost in the desert. It was a lighthouse guiding humanity through the darkness of ignorance. Want more stories like this? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our story, because this is just getting started.